Are you ready to make a California-inspired Caesar chicken wrap? It has all the good things you want, a great Caesar dressing, beautiful chicken, avocado, crunch, delicious. It's what's on the menu. Let's make it. First, what we want to do is get chicken ready. So anytime you have a Caesar salad, you don't always necessarily have chicken, but if you're gonna have a chicken Caesar salad that's kind of California inspired, we're gonna start with the chicken, and we're gonna use a marinade that's also gonna act as a slight dressing. So I have my chicken breast here, which to me are the easiest way, especially when you have something like a wrap, because you can feed multiple people, you can size up the recipe easily, and there's something that we often have in the freezer. So in here, I'm just gonna have my dressing slash marinade. So we're gonna start with some Dijon mustard. Now, and a lot of times, a true Caesar style dressing is gonna have a raw egg yolk. Now, I often will do that, and I don't have any problem with that. But if you don't want to use a raw egg yolk, and in this application, I think it works best not to, mustard is a great emulsifier. It changes the flavor and the richness just slightly, but it acts somewhat the same, and that's why it works really well. Now, some unique things that go into a Caesar that I think are important. One, I'm gonna start with anchovies. So if you haven't bought anchovies, they're probably gonna freak you out because you're gonna think, oh, I don't think I like that. The thing is, their intense, beautiful, rich flavor, when you smell it by itself, you're probably gonna think, oh, that just does not smell that good. But the thing is, you need it. And it really is something that just has so much flavor. And when it comes to something like a Caesar, you don't wanna skimp on it. So don't be scared of them. They're something that you're actually gonna find multiple ways to use them in the kitchen. I think they have so much flavor. Their oils are so delicious. And you can see what I'm doing is just mincing them up. And you can even slide your knife against the wood cutting board to really try to mash them more into a paste. See how they just really break down? That's because they have that rich oil with them. Look at that. Isn't that beautiful? Now, again, if you're thinking of the smell, it's kind of like if you've ever used a fish sauce. If maybe you've made kimchi or something. You're thinking, oh, I don't like that. Trust it. You gotta trust the recipe. And when you put them in there, once they're mixed with everything else, you don't even notice they're in there. I always keep some hot water in my sink so I can wash my hands in between. So we have our anchovies in there, and now garlic. Garlic to me is super important when it comes to a Caesar. So I'm taking the cloves and I'm just gonna go with a garlic press because I want the most intense garlic flavor that I can get. And that's what a garlic press really gives you. It gives you the intensity. And so I do multiple ones, and you don't have to husk them or anything. You don't have to remove all that. The garlic press does all that work for you. So instead what you do is you take apart the cloves, depending on how big they are, you put them in whole, and then when you press, it presses out all that garlic and the juice minus that husk. To me, that's like the perfect way to go, especially if you want intense garlic flavor. So remember, why do we do different things with garlic? Each thing kind of has a different intensity. So when you just chop it up maybe in big pieces, it's gonna have the least intensity. But when you do this, when you press it through and break it apart almost into like a paste where all of its juices are coming out too, that's gonna give you the most intense garlic flavor. And that's what I'm looking for here. So to that, we're also going to what? Add a little bit of Worcestershire sauce. Again, it's that underlying flavor that to me, it's super important. And it's just like building blocks is what we're doing here. And we need those building blocks. We're also gonna add salt. Salt is important in any dressing or marinade. That's what actually is gonna help season the meat, season the greens, whatever you're doing with it. Cracked pepper, super important again. And I think especially when it comes to a Caesar, that cracked pepper, you need it. And then I want lemon juice. So lemon juice now is gonna act as our acidity. So when you're making a dressing, you have different things that act as the acidity. Sometimes it's vinegar, sometimes it's citrus, like this with lemon. And I think a Caesar needs a nice brightness from that lemon. And I just don't think vinegar does the trick. And you can see here, look at that. Look at that beautiful juice right in there. And then we're gonna add in olive oil. Now, I am going to just add it right in here. And olive oil, again, to me, you can do a neutral oil if you want no flavor. So something like a canola, a salad oil. I like olive oil. And I like olive oil because I like the slight flavor it gives, and I think it's important. So I'm putting that in there, and then we just wanna whisk it. So we're just gonna sit here and just whisk it, and look at that. You get everything starting to mix together, and what's gonna slowly happen is that mustard we put in actually emulsifies, which means it combines, and look how it now looks like a dressing. If we didn't have that mustard in there, the oil would want to separate. It wouldn't want to all combine into like a cohesive mass like this. So you can see this works really well. So I'm whisking, and then I'm just gonna set it there. Now, you always should taste a dressing. And I think for one, for seasoning, but also for flavor. It tastes like Caesar dressing. I'm always kind of surprised myself where I'm like, oh, that's Caesar. It's that easy. So what we're gonna start by doing is pouring a little bit over these chicken breasts. Now I patted them dry, but what I wanna do is put them on here, and then I'm gonna let this sit for, a little bit. Like I would say up to an hour, but at least 30 minutes if you can. And don't feel bad, kind of make sure to work it around. You could do this in a bag too, but I hate to waste plastic bags if I don't have to. And guess what? With a little bit of help, and I can turn this maybe after 20 minutes, let it sit a little bit longer. But what we're gonna do is just let these slowly sit in the fridge. I'm gonna wash my hand, put them in the fridge, clean up, and we'll start by making some wraps. It's delicious. I just pulled the chicken out of the fridge because I have some, it's sat and it's marinated. I browned some bacon, as you can see, got it nice and crispy because, like I said, these are a California-inspired Caesar, which means since it's a wrap, we want a few extra components. Now, I'm gonna keep that beautiful bacon grease down there because that's gonna, again, give the chicken even more flavor. Now, if you don't have bacon grease or don't wanna do that, you could add some oil and do it like that. Now, what I'm gonna do is take these chicken breasts, which have been marinating, just in that dressing, which to me is like a great way just to add even more flavor. I'm gonna set them right down in there. Hear the sizzle? That's beautiful, isn't it? And what we're gonna do is just brown them on both sides, then pop them in the oven so they can roast fully. So once the chicken was browned on one side, I flip it over in the skillet, and then don't even wait, and I just throw it right into the oven because it will have time in the oven to brown, and then it roasts perfectly. I take it out when it's about 5 degrees from where you want the temperature, because as it sits out and rests, it actually comes up in temperature. That's how you don't overcook it. So it's been sitting, and now you get this beautiful, look at that chicken. So it has that beautiful crust on it, has the browning on it, and look how beautiful and tender and moist and juicy it is. This is just, to me, this is the wonderful thing. So you can make all these components ahead, have them ready to go in the fridge, pull these out and make wraps when you want to. Imagine even using all these components on a salad. It's really like a California Caesar chicken. And you can use it kind of, it's like a combo of almost like a club salad, all those things. And so, you know me, I love all the things. So here we're using extra large flour tortillas. Yes, in this case I'm using flour because flour just works better for wrapping and having it be, that consistency. Now, to me, any good Caesar needs what? A really crisp romaine lettuce. That's what it needs. And that's what you want. You want it to be that really nice crispness to it. I'm gonna grab a spoon here and put a little bit now of this reserved dressing right over it. So this is the dressing that will just kind of dress everything. Look at that. You really wanna get those flavors in there. And this is what's gonna hearken that whole Caesar salad. I mean, this is the beautiful part. So I'm gonna put it on there. My mouth may or may not be watering. And then you can really just start making the components. So you can start layering in the chicken. I like it thinly sliced so you don't, the one thing, and we all know this from whether you make tacos, burritos, don't overfill it. I probably will anyway. I like some sliced red onion. It gives it a little bit of that brightness, some crunch, some beauty. The bacon I sliced up. Again, you want that crunchy factor. And then we need some Parmesan cheese. So I just thinly sliced some Parm. I want that in there, and that will give it a nice bite because it has that seasoning to it. And then I think it always is gonna need some avocado. That gives it creaminess, that really good kind of fatty creamy. And then you just wrap it up, try not to overmix it and not to overfill it because then you can wrap it better, which actually that's pretty good. I don't always do that good. I usually overfill. So then you could, have it together, take this for your lunch, serve it somewhere like that. You probably should put, a toothpick in it if you really want to keep it well. But look at that. Look at that beauty. That to me right there is what you're going for. You could even serve some extra dressing as a side to it. I'll try it. Guess what? I love it. And I knew I would love it. What I love about it is you get all the components here. You get fresh crunch from the lettuce. You get that bite of bacon that has a nice crispness to it, the creamy avocado, the chicken. You get the beautiful dressing flavor. That's why we put it both as a marinade on the chicken and on the actual lettuce in the wrap because it really drives home that flavor. Again, you do not taste anchovy. What you taste is a really full-bodied, rich dressing, but still bright and refreshing in a salad or a wrap. So what I hope you do with this, I hope you see putting food on the table and enjoying it. It's doable. If I can do it, anybody can do it. And guess what? When you share these videos, yeah, it helps me a lot. It helps everyone else see good food is easy to make at home and enjoyable. So share it around. Check my website, wiseguide.com, for this recipe. For all my other recipes, they're all on there. And until next time, enjoy something delicious.